I want to bring in Eric Ham now. He's CTV News political analyst. Eric, good morning to you. What are you expecting to hear from Biden's farewell address tonight? This is a long-standing tradition with presidents. What do you think he will say as he ends his service?
I think we're going to see a victory lap from the president. I think he will speak about the many accomplishments that he has had during his 4 years in office. But I think he's also going to contrast what he has done with what we are potentially seeing from the next administration. We see, as you just spoke about, the brewing tensions between the United States and Canada. But I think what we will see from Joe Biden tonight is how he either continue to maintain those healthy, long-standing relationships or attempted to expand them with other nations. And I think there's going to be that contrast. But also, I think he's going to try to telegraph to Donald Trump and to his administration that they need to try to maintain those relationships, particularly with our biggest trading partners of Canada and Mexico.
And we can't forget that President Joe Biden finds himself in this situation this evening, the last few months, not really on his own accord. It wasn't his choice. He was pressured to bow out of the race. So to that point, Eric, do you think that we will hear something personal or sentimental from Joe Biden tonight?
That's a really good question. And I think Joe Biden has been very honest and very transparent about his feelings, especially now that the race is over and the Democrats are going back into the wilderness. And I think tonight, I think he will try to stay above the fray and focus more on the positive, the net effect of his administration. But nevertheless, I think there is still that brewing what if, that regret that he did not stay in the race. But also, too, I think what we're seeing from Joe Biden tonight, very similar to what we saw from him just a few days ago, is, as you mentioned, while this is something that we typically see from outgoing presidents, for Joe Biden, I think it's still a little too late, because this is all still part of presidential stagecraft. And that's something that Joe Biden simply just rejected wholesale his entire administration. Quite frankly, it's the reason why he's actually heading back to Delaware and not staying in the White House.
And I just want to switch gears for my last question with you this morning, Eric, as the Senate committee begins another day of confirmation hearings. Today we've got Pam Bondi and Marco Rubio up. But just a quick note on yesterday, it was a combative and heated hearing for Pete Hegseth. Does it look like he will move forward?
I do believe that he does, in fact, have the votes. He can only afford to lose three, and I don't think you're going to see more than three Republicans that will rebuke Donald Trump, particularly on such a high-profile nominee. Now, he did get, as you say, a massive grilling. In fact, the ranking member of the committee came outright and said that he did not support his nomination and that he did not think he was qualified for the position. Now, what we saw yesterday, I think, is going to be in stark contrast to today's hearing with Marco Rubio as the nation's top diplomat. I do also believe that there will be a lot of questions to Marco Rubio about what the relationship will be going forward with America's closest allies, particularly Canada. And I think there will be a much more healthy and robust discussion, but where there are questions about whether or not Hegseth can actually get through, I think Marco Rubio's nomination is actually not in doubt whatsoever, because we already know that both Democrats and Republicans are going to support their colleague in this role as the Secretary of State.
Eric Ham is our CTV News political analyst. Eric, thanks for all that.